Hello and welcome to episode 5 of the SPM Podcast. Coming up on today's show, we discuss the show Bob's Burgers, as well as Attack Pro Wrestling's Thank God It's Not Winterslam 2, as well as WWE Summerslam. Then in news, we talk about the recent updates about Star Wars Episode 9 and have a short discussion around that. Then we wrap up the show with this month's and next month's releases.
I will get diabetes for this cheesecake, I don't care.
Anyway, on the topic of diabetes, recently myself and Leah started watching the show Bob's Burgers. After like 3 years of me contemplating watching it, I finally got around to doing it. And I'm not regretting it so far. I'm actually really enjoying it. I will say, first season, bit slow. There were a few dud episodes in season 1.
I don't really remember what happened in season 1, to be honest.
That's my point. There was obviously good moments in season 1, because otherwise we wouldn't have kept watching it. But I think it was the characters more than anything, because they set up, what each character was, because that's obviously a thing with sitcoms, and this is an animated sitcom, where each character obviously feels like that trope. They kind of subvert the tropes, because Tina, she's the oldest, right?
She's 13.
Yeah, she's the eldest, she's a female, Tina. She's got the overly active sexual mind.
It's because she's 13.
But obviously it's not implicit sexuality. It's not like, oh,
no, she's
I
just
want to fuck someone.
No,
it's
she's just like butts.
I want to touch that butt.
I was like, I like butts.
It's like the PG version of being explicit.
I think Tina is a very pure character. She's really pure and I love it. She's just pleased with really simple things, just stop it. Liam, I will cover your mouth. Good.
And that's why I don't like Tina.
I like Tina because she's just, I don't know, she's really innocent in her sexual desires. All she wants to do is touch the butt, and I'm like, girl, I feel you.
Christine, it's not that I hate Tina. It's just she's my least favorite because it's just something about her character. In one of the earlier seasons, I can't remember which one it was. She was having a party, and she just refused to accept that her family were putting a ton of effort in just because Jimmy Jr. wasn't going to be there, and she was just being a real spoilt bitch.
Yeah.
And it really bothered me, and I don't know why.
I didn't like that episode.
That stuff normally doesn't bother me, but it really irritated me, and she's just grated on me ever since.
So if she didn't do that, you might like her a bit more.
Maybe. She's still that character where you kind of as she goes, but, I don't know. But going from my least favourite to my favourite, Louise, I fucking love Louise as a character.
She pisses me off sometimes, but I do like Louise.
Why is Louise?
I don't know. She's just too. Her voice is too high pitched. She screams too much. I don't like it.
It's Kristen Schaal. That's gonna happen.
I don't.
She's got a bit of a squeaky voice in real life.
Yeah, but I love Jean as well.
But no, Louise is my favourite character just because she's just fucking great. She's just evil and a genius. She's that evil genius character, and it's so good. And then Jean he's the another subversive character because he's the son. He's the male child, and he's quite camp. I don't know if he'd say he's camp, but he's
quite feminine. And
yeah, he's not a typical male. The amount of jokes he makes about fashion and stuff like that, and sister, and he's not a typical male, and it's not a bad thing because it's not a lot of shows. If they did that these days, they'd be like, "Oh, look at this boy. He's not a boy. He's in touch with his femininity." But Jean's just Jean. There's nothing about him that's overly politicized. It's just he's there and he's a character.
Yeah, and they haven't made any hints what his sexuality is either. And he's just a kid that likes fashion jokes. And that's
and loves to make music with
and makes
farts
music with farts and dog barks and he's just really he's a good character. I mean, if they go ahead and be like, oh yeah, Jean's gay, I'm gonna be like, just leave Jean alone. Leave Jean alone. And another of my two favorite characters in Bob's Burgers, Andy and Ollie. They're my favorites. I love them.
Just irritate me.
They're cute. They're adorable. I love Andy and Ollie.
I haven't mentioned fucking Bob and Linda.
Well, I don't really like Bob and Linda all that much.
Linda's got her good moments, but a lot of the time she is quite annoying.
Yeah.
And then Bob is it kind of works though because he's the
He's a grumpy dad.
Yeah, he's the grumpy dad. He's the straight man most of the time. He's the character that everyone else plays off. Everyone else is quite goofy, and he's like, "Stop that! What are you doing? Stop! He's that straight man. You need a straight man." But then he has episodes where he's the complete opposite, and it's great. But the thing I find interesting is the reason why I knew about the show in the first place, because obviously I watch Archer, and in season, I want to say 3, they did a crossover episode because it's the same people. The same people make it, and the same person who voices Bob is the same person who voices Archer.
Oh, yeah, no, I can see that.
Yeah, it's H. Sean Benjamin, who looks nothing like you'd imagine him to look. Because if you look at his two characters, they kind of have similarities. But then if you see it, what he actually looks like, he looks nothing like the two characters he plays.
This makes me uncomfortable.
What's even funnier for me is because I'm obviously watching Master of None. He's in Master of None, as an actual person, not as an animated character, as a person. So it's really weird having 2 animated shows with his voice on, and then kind of having this idea of what he looked like, and then seeing him in Master of None going, "Hey, I recognize that voice," and then looking up on IMDb and going, "Holy shit, it is him." But that's character-wise. There's not a whole lot we can talk about with this topic, because if we were to go through everything we've watched so far, we'd be here for fucking ages, and I don't want to be talking about this one topic for the entire goddamn podcast. So instead, I decided it'd be an interesting thing to just pick what our favourite episodes are. So, I don't know if you want to go first.
Episode or scissors?
You can pick multiple if you want. If there's some, a few that you really fucking liked. I'm going to have to go for IMDb because I can't remember all the episodes.
Right, well, one of my favourite ones was obviously the one with Tina's erotic fan fiction. I'm not sure what that was called, but that was a really good episode. I love that one. And another one was when Tina had 2 boys fighting over to go to dances and stuff, and she went with the ballet guy, and then ended up having a sort of 3-way dance. I was kind of yeah, I mean, you can both have me if you want, and then both of them was what the fuck, that's really weird. No thanks, bye bye. Also, the one where they went camping was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
I'm going for IMDb and looking at the episodes, and one that popped out at me was An Indecent Thanksgiving Proposal. It's a play on An Indecent Proposal, which is a film I've never seen, but I think the premise is something like a millionaire or billionaire presents a couple with a proposal where he will pay them $1 million if he can spend one night with a woman, and that's the film. And the episode's kind of similar, where the landlord, I guess, I can't remember his goddamn name.
Mr. Fishoder.
Yeah, Mr. Fishoder. It's on the Thanksgiving dinner because he wants to get with this girl this woman who's a known adulterer. She seems to only go for men who are married. So basically, Linda and the family have to pose as his family, and Bob just goes slowly fucking insane through the episode, and it's just so good. I can't remember what it was. He was drinking absinthe. Yeah, the same thing that Manson drank for years, and that's why he's so fucked up.
Manson?
Yeah, that's why Manson's so fucked up. Besides all the drugs, that was his main vice. I also like the Frond Files, which is that episode where there's 3 different mini stories.
Yeah, that's the one that we haven't watched, isn't it?
Season 4, yeah, so when along watched it. But it's the 3 stories where
they refused to put their stories out with the other kids because they were weird.
What was Louise's was the Terminator one. Jean's was a play. Well, it was basically kind of a musical thing about farts. And then Tina's was another one of those, the power of butts and touching butts. That was her thing. Was the power of touching butts can overcome everything. And a more recent episode that I really enjoyed was Work Hard or Die Trying Girl. It's the episode where both
Die Hard and
where Gene wants to put on his Die Hard the musical that he's written, and his ex-girlfriend wants to put on a Working Girl musical. And basically they have a musical off, and then at the end they combine the two, and it's such a good episode. Overall, I wouldn't say it's the most amazing or groundbreaking show. There's nothing really special about it. But honestly, if you're looking for another animated show, an animated sitcom, you could do way, way worse than Bob's Burgers. It's a good show. It's not amazing, but it's a very good show, and that's all I'll say. Moving on from Bob's Burgers, we actually want to talk about something that happened, basically a month ago now.
It was last month, yeah.
Yeah. Fucking 20th of August. We went to Attack Pro Wrestling's most recent winter show, Summer show, which was Winterslam 2.
Well, thank God
it's not Winterslam. Wait, was it Thank God It's Not Winterslam 2, or was it Winterslam 2, Thank God It's Not Winterslam?
No, it was Thank God
It's Not
Winterslam 2.
Yeah.
That's where it was.
Whatever, it doesn't matter about the name. So yeah, we went to that. The issue we were having with the show is, beforehand, we're just going to set this all up. Basically, they were doing the show in Walkabout, and for the main WWE shows, so that's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble, I think.
Isn't Payback in there as well?
No, not for the big shows. Basically, Walkabout do live screenings, not viewings. So basically, they have fucking screens all over it. It's a sports bar, mostly.
It's an Australian sports bar, yeah.
They have screens all over, and they have 2 massive fucking screens actually in the venue, and they do screenings of the pay-per-view. So they were going to do a screening of SummerSlam. Basically, Winterslam was set up so that the show would end, and then it wouldn't be and then after the show we'd watch SummerSlam. And we were unsure at first if we were going to stay, because we knew the show was going to end sometime about 10, half 10, somewhere around there, and our last train home was like 20 past 9, so it was either leave the show early
I'm not going to see my baby Flash wrestle.
Or stay and kind of just deal with being in Cardiff overnight. We chose the latter because we didn't want to leave Attack early. So what happened today? We're gonna walk you through the full day because there's something else we want to talk about. Took a train to Cardiff as we normally do, and this time for food we decided to do something we had never done before, and for the longest time I'd always said was very overrated. We went to Nando's.
I love Nando's. It's so good.
It's an interesting experience because we went in and, well, I kind of knew the menu going in because that's what I do. I look up the menus beforehand. And I went in and I knew what I wanted. I ordered the butterfly chicken with peri salted chips, something like that.
Those were heaven,
And garlic bread because they can get 2 sides with it. And you ordered...
I don't remember what I had.
You ordered a steak wrap or something like that.
It was in
char-grilled veg.
It was in pita bread, and I had an entire corn on the cob, and it was great.
Anyone interested? I went medium because I didn't know what the spicing was like in there. She went mild, and she didn't realize if she went mild, she'd have to pick either lemon and herb,
or it was lime or something.
Whatever the other fucking
it
one
was lemon and herb or lime and something.
First off, I'm just going to say one thing that really pissed me off about Nando's is they don't fucking include VAT in the actual prices, which means that when I went up to the counter to pay, it actually cost more than I was expecting it to, and that's really fucking annoying.
We'll be prepared for that next time though.
But whatever, annoyances aside, food came, and as they said, those peri salted chips were fucking heaven.
It was heaven on a plate.
They're so good. The garlic bread was great as well.
Like when you tried the chips, right, your eyes sort of roll back into your head, and you shoved one towards me. He was like, "You gotta try this. It's so good." And I was just like,
The main part, Nando's is known for its chicken, and I had the butterfly chicken, and I'm just gonna say straight up, most of it was very average at best. I don't know if it was just the way it was cooked, but it was nice, don't get me wrong, but there was nothing special about it until the last 2 bites, which is when I got to the middle of it, and it had, I don't even know what it was, but it was just really nice in the middle. So the last 2 bites were really fucking good, but the rest was very average. So overall, my experience with Nando's was, I enjoyed it. Would I say it's overrated? Probably not. I wouldn't say it's overrated. Would I say it's a bit expensive for what you get? Probably. Will I go back? Definitely.
That's tough though because we're going for my birthday.
I know.
We're going anyway.
I don't know if you want to talk about yours.
I don't really think I got much to say about Nando's. I just really liked it. I'm gutted that we didn't get to try the mango ice cream though. That would have been really nice.
Next time we go to Nando's, I'm probably going to go hot because the medium had no spice to it.
Yeah, and Liam was like, we're getting one of those
wing roulette.
The wing roulettes, and I'm just kind of like, if I bite into the really fucking hot one, you can bet your ass you're having it, because I ain't gonna eat all that.
Anyway, continuing with the actual main point in the story, and that's wrestling. We went to line up outside Walkabout.
That was fun. Don't cry again.
And I made the mistake. I have a Defend Indie Wrestling varsity jacket. And I was trying to choose between taking that or taking my Stealth Penguin Productions hoodie, because I didn't have to carry both. And both of them are decent enough in warmth.
You could have taken both if I took a bag with me, but I didn't. I refused to. So.
They're both decent enough in terms of warmth, so it wasn't an issue with that. It was a case of like which one I prefer. And because I was going to a wrestling show, more specifically an attack show, I wanted to take my Defend Varsity. And I paid for it, because when we got into line, we were there like 5 minutes, and all of a sudden it started pissing down. And I did that for 10-15 minutes while we were in line.
It was more like 20 or 20ish minutes, like as long
I know
as
it like stopped and started
there.
like a few times, but it was just getting fucking soaked. But that's besides the point. We eventually got in there, and Walkabout is a mostly standing show, which is really annoying because I'm used to attack shows being seated.
Leah didn't have fun on the first half being standing.
Yeah, here's the issue is we were told that, well, I was told that the balcony was off limits, because when you went to the toilet, there was somebody working there who came past, and they were asked, they were like, oh, so is the balcony closed off? I was like, yeah, it's really dark, I don't know, security are going to stand there or something. So we went and stood down in the actual crowd itself, and then like during the show we looked up and we saw fucking people standing where I had heard that it was closed off. So I was really annoyed about that, but whatever, it's besides the point. We went down, stood in the crowd, and we couldn't get near the front. Well, probably near the front, but we were near enough the front. But
I mean, at least you could see.
Yeah, that's the issue we're always gonna have with standing. Is you're too short.
I'm too tiny. Like, I'm 4'11". You would think that people would be nice enough to let me scooch past them so I can see, but they're not. And this woman, right, I swear to God, this fucking girl, right, I'm gonna go off on a rant, yeah? You lot listen to me right now, yeah? This girl, right, she stood right in front of me, and she was drunk as shit, right? She was pissed off her fucking face, right? She was just there, and she was laughing at the top of her mouth, right? She was, yeah, whatever. She was fucking making up stupid chants. Right, wasn't she fucking starting stupid chants and no one was joining in on? So she fucking showed off about that. And whenever someone's fucking entrance music started, she started dancing. I was like, that's fine. But she looked behind me before she started doing it, and she fucking started flicking her ear in my face. And this girl had long fucking hair, and I was just about maybe just below her shoulders when it comes to height. And she kept flicking me in the face with her hair. And I swear to fuck, I have never been so annoyed for, like, I don't know how long was the first half. Half an hour?
No, it was
like an hour.
Yeah.
Right? I was so pissed off that first hour. And I was just like, I am not having a good time right now. Because I couldn't see, and this bitch...
I came out to have a good time and I'm feeling so attacked
I was feeling attacked. She was attacking me. I was just like... Oh, I came to watch wrestling, not to be flicked in the eye by your hair. Like, what the fuck do you think you are? I'm like, oh, shit, man.
But yeah, that was before the show started. I'm not going to talk about the stuff in between matches because I don't remember much about it. I remember the matches though, and I actually have the full card up because I wanted to walk through them and see if we could remember them. It's been a while and I haven't rewatched the show, so bear with us. We're probably only going to go into detail on a few matches because those are the only ones we remember. Not to say the rest of the matches were bad, it's just... You know, it's been a while. So the first match of the show was Sergeant Banks, Travis Banks, versus Eddie Dennis.
That was a fun match, wasn't it? That was fun.
It was an interesting start to the show. I fucking love Travis Banks. The dude's so talented, and he's so good at doing comedy. Like, he can be such a good, serious, and talented wrestler one moment, and the next moment he can be fucking a great comedic character, because I still remember back to
oh god, you're gonna
press start 2.
Oh my god, that was great.
Press start 2.
Press 5 tart.
Yeah, press 5 tart. Travis Banks came out dressed as Mark Andrews, and as he's getting beaten down near us, he goes, "I'm Mark Andrews.
I'm from South Wales.
I'm in a band called Junior." It's like, what else was he fucking saying? He was like, "Time to fly," and then everyone would go, "Yeah," and then he'd just go, "Cool."
He was going.
You do hang 10.
He was going like this, "Shooting star press, okay," and then he just didn't do it because he can't do it. He's too heavy to do it.
He might be able to do it.
No,
but...
he said himself he's too heavy to do it.
Anyway, back to Winterslam because we're gonna go off. Yeah, it was Sergeant Banks versus Eddie Dennis. I don't remember a lot about this match. One thing I do remember from the match though was Travis Banks, Sergeant Banks, taking a beer hostage. He was walking backwards holding a finger gun to the beer. If anyone knows Eddie, he's
a great lover of beer.
He loves beer, so it was kind of like, don't hurt him. And I think at one point he put him down. But that's the one bit I remember from the match. And then I think Eddie won. Yeah, Eddie won the match. And at the end, Eddie went for the handshake and Banks shook it off. We kind of towards the end of the rest of the show. So yeah, there's not a whole lot I remember about the match. Not a bad match, just not something that remembers off the top of my head. Next up, we had a 6-man scramble match, which was a fucking...
God, who was in that?
Oh, I can tell you now, but it was a fucking shit show. Not for the wrong reasons, but it was just so like ridiculously hectic because of how many people there was. The 6-way scramble match was Brendan White, which is Bronco. The guy who came out as Cowboy. Bino.
Oh, I love Bino.
Posada, I think that was the guy who came out with the face paint on. Charlie Sterling, which is the fucking ripped as shit dude. Drew Parker, who's now the fucking Urchin Prince. I remember him as EC Drew. I haven't seen a lot about the Urchin Prince.
I think the Urchin Prince suits him.
And then Charlie Evans.
Charlie Evans. I love Charlie.
Again, not a whole lot I remember about this match. I remember a comedy spot where Sterling was going to do he was fucking playing to the crowd about doing a moonsault onto someone, I can't remember who it was. And because he was taking so long, Charlie Evans pushed the person out of the way, led down on the floor and put her knees up. The bit that kind of killed this spot for me, though, is at one point Sterling looks behind.
Who's this now? You're about Drew?
No, Sterling, the big
the big
dude. Guy. Yeah, he was going to do that moonsault. He was like, yeah, want to see moonsault? He was playing to everyone.
Oh, you mean the one that was always after everyone's applause?
Yeah, he was playing to the crowd.
Okay.
But at one point, like, just Charlie was laying on the floor because she was going to catch him with her knees. And at one point, he looks behind, and there's no way he doesn't see her. And I was kind of like...
He was probably looking to see if she was still there, but...
No, she wasn't there in the first place,
No, but he was probably looking to make sure that she was there, because that was obviously something that they had planned.
I know, but it's just that kind of killed the spot, because it was like...
I mean, you just got to kind of trust in
and you had, like,
wrestlers.
the ridiculous amounts of outside dives that happens in every fucking independent scramble match.
That if you're, like, nowhere near, is not very fun. Like, if you can't see it happening, then you're just like, well, that's a bit shit, isn't it?
The thing I remember the most about this match, though, was fucking Sterling going up to the top rope and, like, playing to the crowd about doing a move. And we were all like, oh, it's just gonna be, like, a splash or, like, a fucking, I don't know, 450 at most. The dude fucking pulls out a spiral tap. And me and a bunch of other people just went, holy fuck! It was just completely unexpected. And it was the most insane thing. I've never seen that in person, and it's a fucking insane move. I think Charlie won the match in the end.
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, again, it's not... I don't remember a whole lot about the match. There's, like, probably, like...
I don't remember much about what happened there.
Yeah.
I think Charlie won.
I can find out.
She did.
Yeah, Evans gets the last words for the pop-up powerbomb. Okay. After that, we had the hostage trade with fucking Fat Cat coming out with Santos Jr. in rope. And then the Brothers of Destruction coming out with Split McPin in a bag. I remember
everyone saying, oh, that's not Splits, that's going to be fucking Sergeant Dunn.
It looked like Dunn.
Deputy Dunn, yeah.
Because of the boots and the knee pads, it looked like Dunn.
Yeah.
But then they took it off and he was wearing a mask, and I thought it was Dunn under the mask, but it wasn't. It was fucking Splits, who had been changed into, what was his name? They changed it to Code McSafety.
Oh, fuck's sake.
Barrels of Destruction, Santos and Code McSafety started beating down Fat Cat, and out comes Aussie Open, which is Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher. My memory of Kyle Fletcher is fucking press 5. He's just... And he comes out as Nixon Newell.
I can't get that out of my head because legit, right, this is going to sound really fucking bad, yeah? But legit, you know when he came out as Nixon, I actually thought he was a girl. I can't, and I feel so bad for it because, like, he was, like, screaming and he actually sounded like a girl, and every time I see him now, I just keep thinking about him dressed as Nixon Newell, and I just can't get it out of my head. But Aussie Open are great.
Yeah, I want to see more of them. I'm hoping we will at some point. But they turned into a 6-man tag with Aussie Open and Fat Cat on one side and Brothers of Obstruction and Code McSafety on the other. Again, not a whole lot I remember about this match. I remember, like, through the match, obviously, we're trying to get Splits to remember. I'm pretty sure there was a bunch of people, remember Splits! Remember
the good times!
Obviously, every time that happened, they were trying to fucking get Splits to remember who he was. You had, I'm pretty sure at one point, one of the Brothers of Destruction brought a fucking hard hat into the into the ring and was wearing it, and people kept hitting moves, and he's like, "It's a hard hat!" And eventually got the hard hat knocked off him, and got fucking hit and went down. And then eventually, we finally had Splits realize who he was. He turned on the Brothers of Destruction and helped Fat Cat and Ozzy Open win the match. With fucking, I just gotta say, Mark Davis's pile driver is a fucking gorgeous move. The amount of air he can get on a pile driver is insane. But anyway, after the match, we had Splits and Fat Cat reunion. Everything's good again. Balaram was back together. Hooray! And I'm pretty sure that was the first half of the show.
Yeah, I think so.
Up next, we have the biggest mess of the show.
Oh, at this point, I could see.
Yeah, the people in front of us had moved, so we had nicked their spots.
I stole her place, and she tried to get in front of me, and I was like, "Bitch, back off." So.
Anyway, come back, and out comes Chris Brooks. Chris Brooks comes out, and then
Ryan Smile.
Mike Bird. Bo came out first.
It was Bo and Bird.
Let me just walk through it. Chris comes out, and then Bo comes out, and we think, oh, that's the match that was planned. It was going to be Brooks versus Bo and Bird versus Smile. So they come out, and out of nowhere, Bird comes in the ring and attacks Brooks. So there's Bird and Bo beating the shit out of Brooks. And suddenly out of nowhere, Ryan Smile comes off the top rope and takes him out and tries to form a team with Smile. That's with Brooks.
That match, I'm just gonna say, right, it was a really good match, but it was fucking awful for people shouting things at Ryan. But, it really was. It was awful.
So basically, Brooks and Smile became an impromptu tag team. Brooks didn't want any of it, so he went to the back. So it was gonna be Smile versus Bird and Bo. Eventually, Brooks did come back out. I said this match is a mess because apparently, I don't know if this is the case, apparently this was meant to be Brooks' face turn. He was meant to turn face, and it was going to be Bird and Bo was turning heel. That's why they attacked Brooks, and because Smile's a face, so it was meant to be two faces versus two heels. But it didn't come off like that. Like, it just felt like Brooks was still Brooks. Nothing happened to make people think that he wasn't a heel anymore. Oh, except that I can kind of see it now, because at the end of the match he actually shook Smile's hand, and if Brooks was still heel, he wouldn't have done that.
No.
But during the match, it wasn't obvious at all. And, like, as Leah said, it was terrible for people shouting at Smile, because
I was actually bloody disgusted with some of the things I heard the fans shouting at Ryan.
Not too long ago, Smile said some stuff on Twitter, and I've seen what he said, and it's nothing bad about it. It was something along the lines of like it shouldn't. I think it was like, it shouldn't be like a celebration for like LGBT people to come out, because it should just be accepted.
He said that coming out shouldn't be a big deal, like as much of a big deal as it is, because it's not actually really anything really interesting. It's just something really normal about a person. And he got so much fucking backlash when he was just telling, like, he was just saying what like most people are thinking, like, why do you need to come out? I mean, I fucking didn't. I didn't.
But so. He got so bad that he prouded his account for a bit, and then came back and apologised and fucking whatever. I don't care about the whole thing. Basically, at the show, there seemed to be from the rest of the crowd,
there was some fucking hecklers there.
There's apparently a very specific part of the show, crowd that were the ones doing most of the shouting at Smile, and it confused the rest of us, because like they were all booing and talking shit about Smile, so like the rest of us were kind of like, oh, we meant to boo him, so. Like,
we were really like that confused, like the entire crowd that did.
It just became,
because everybody knows you're not meant to boo Ryan.
It just became this big issue, and like it obviously seemed like something was wrong, because after the match, apparently, I didn't see it because I had looked away, like as Smile was walking away, but he must have turned back and like someone had shouted something at him, and I know the guy next to me reacted, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? And apparently, I didn't hear it, but apparently other people heard it. Apparently some people were chanting, kill yourself at Ryan, who's got a history of suicide attempts.
Isn't he like...
He was put on watch.
Yeah. And you don't fucking say that to someone, like, especially, like, I'm betting as well, you know, these people probably knew about that, because I don't think this is something that Ryan keeps a secret, but you don't you don't say that to somebody, you know, after they've struggled with, like, you know, suicidal tendencies and shit. You don't. Oh my god, it was nearly. Like, I'm just gonna say now, it wasn't as bad as that woman that kept shouting all those fucking things at Martina, but it was still awful. Like, how wrestling fans can go to a wrestling show and shout something like that at one of the wrestlers is beyond me. It's fucking awful. I hate it.
Yeah, moving on from that, the next match was Elijah versus Amari. I really don't remember much about this match, so we're just going to skip over it.
I just remember singing the song when it came out, because everyone sings Elijah's song.
We're going to talk about the one thing that was kind of said, we knew we were going to end up talking about for the tag segment, and that was the main event, which is Flash Morgan Webster versus Deputy Damian Dunn for the Attack Pro Wrestling Championship.
The stakes were fucking high on this one.
If Flash lost the match, he had to leave Attack. And the thing was, the reason why there was, like, people were kind of nervous was because the night before
he lost it.
He lost his Chaos Championship and left Chaos.
Pro Wrestling Chaos, yeah.
So we were kind of like, wait, shit, if he's lost that championship...
I didn't... No, but the thing is, I said to Liam the night before, and went, nah, he's just lost his Pro Wrestling Chaos Championship to Eddie, and he's left there. He's not going to lose the Attack one. He's going to win it. Because it just makes sense. He's not going to lose two... He's not going to be dropped from two promotions.
Not really, because that's what happens with a lot of wrestlers who end up joining the E, is they lose matches and then leave the promotion. So that's why it was kind of like, wait, he just lost his championship and left. What if he does that at Attack as well? Like, it
was scary, because, like, the only promotion I get to see Flash at, because Flash is my favourite, the only promotion I get to see him live at is Attack, and if he left, I would have, like, my heart would have absolutely broken into pieces.
But this match was main event and match of the night for the very reason it deserved to be main event. It was just a fucking...
It was a shit show, man.
Everything that could happen did happen.
Like Shay.
Start of the match, I can't remember how the match started, but I know at one point, Flash and Dunn ended out in the crowd near us. I know we couldn't fucking see because we didn't want to move because we didn't want to lose our spot. So it was kind of like we cheer, like it's that whole thing where like
that sounds awesome. Yes, yeah. It was.
It's that whole thing. It's like we couldn't see, but we didn't want to move, so I just watched the fucking DVD. But then they're back in the ring. Skim through all the stuff that goes on, and at one point we think Flash has done beat. We think we're gonna get free count. Shay counts 1, 2, and doesn't count the third. And then the Flash. I'm pretty sure he flipped Flash off.
Flipped him off, and I was like, that is when I started screaming. Like, I actually started screaming at the top of my lungs. Because... And
then the rest of the anti-fan police comes out to attack Flash and help Dunn. Then the rest of the locker room comes out. Yeah. There's a massive fucking brawl. We're left in the match again. And I think he kicks Flash in the balls, doesn't he?
Yeah, he kicks Flash in the balls.
Yeah, he does that, and then he's kind of just in the ring. And also out of nowhere, in the corner of the ring, just appears Warren, who's a Brit fan? I think that's his name on...
Warren. Yeah, he was the 24/7 champion
for a while, and I know he had a rivalry with Shay at one point.
He did have a rivalry with Shay.
Yeah, he had a rivalry with Shay at one point, and basically he just, for a guy who doesn't wrestle, he's got a fucking amazing spear. He takes Shay out, bring out another ref, and thinking another free count, and then pretty sure that ref gets taken out by I want to say Banks or someone. But then match turns on.
That match was the match where Banks turned face as well,
I know,
wasn't
I'm getting to that point.
Alright, okay.
But then we're back in the ring. Dunn and Banks are in it, and Banks is like... Dunn's like... He pushes Banks first, and Banks is kind of like, oh, that's it, that's enough. He starts unbuttoning his shirt, and then he's like, no, I can't do that. He buttons it back up. And Dunn's like, don't you ever disobey me again, and spits at Banks.
Yeah,
and then it's just like it's just that pause where everything just went.
Everyone was like, oh shit.
And then Banks just rips his shirt open, smacks Dunn, hits the slice of heaven, and then that's Banks' face turn, and then Flash, I think he hits a move, I think it's the Eaton Rifle. It's one of his big moves. Might be in the Britpop, actually. But he hits a move, doesn't get a count, Dunn goes back up, and he puts him in the Strangler.
Yeah, I was going to say he won with the Strangler, didn't he?
Yeah, he's down. We're all like fucking chanting him to tap, and he eventually taps, and the place just fucking loses its shit.
It erupted. It was
I have to say this, because I watch wrestling on my own, you don't really emote you don't really do much. Like, if I'm watching wrestling on my own and I watch something really cool, I'll probably go, oh shit, to myself. And then I would
probably just breathe out your nose a little bit.
Probably won't lose my shit. But because we saw it live, because everyone else was losing the shit, I start fucking jumping up and down.
Everyone
and I've never
was
done that.
jumping. Every single person in that place was jumping up and down. It was fucking crazy. It was great.
I've never done that. Like, that's not who I am. I'm not someone who, like, reacts like that too much.
I did. Like, but I think it was expected of me. Like, you expected me to have the reaction that I did. I know you did.
I'm finding it funny how you glossed over how you seemingly lost control during that match and started chanting stuff that you didn't realize you were chanting.
I was screaming a whole
Pretty sure
bunch
at one
of
point
shit.
you shouted, "Fuck you, Shay!"
I did! And he heard me. Because he looked at me and he went, I was like, oh shit, that was probably a little bit too loud.
But yeah, it was just the perfect payoff to the perfect setup. Everything that could happen did happen. It was a match on the night, and Flash got what he's deserved because he's been with attacks since basically the start.
Yeah, Flash deserved to win that match. He really did.
And I've got to give it out to fucking like Dunn and the Anti-Fan Police for being the perfect heels. They've developed so much goddamn heat and attack. Like, you just fucking remember back to Press 5 Top, where literally the whole premise is, oh, they've got a GameCube that controls attack. And fucking grown wrestling fans are getting so involved in the story about GameCube.
Yeah, I mean, I was invested. I was like, no, don't put the top of the thingy down. Then I was like, oh wait, but then I won't have flashback, and because he was Deputy Dunn, and that was weird. Because Deputy Dan was in the fucking wheelchair.
But yes, Winterslam 2 was a very good show. I still enjoyed Press 5 Top more, but that's just because I lost my shit at Press 5 Top. Like, I just laughed at every goddamn match, and this was a bit more serious, but it's also probably the best match I've seen in Attack so far with that main event. So yeah, that's the actual event of Winterslam done. We did stick around and walk about afterwards though, because we were going to stay for Summerslam, and Leah has a story she wants to tell.
Yeah, I mean, like, recently I think is, like, probably over, like, the last, like, 6 or 7 months or so, well, I have been building, let's just say friendship or whatever, like, I'm pretty sure that's not exactly where it is, but at the minute, I have a very good relationship with Flash, and I've had that for a while, where every time I'll tweet him, or I'll mention him on Twitter, he'll always reply to me, or he'll always like my tweet, and I know that it's very easy, it is really easy to get replies and likes from Flash, because he's always on social media, but the thing that got me losing my absolute mind was the fact that at that show, he recognized me, he knew who I was, because of, like, the entire, like, all of the months I put in talking to him, replying to him, just having general conversation with him. It paid off, and he recognized me. I bought him a enamel pin badge to go on his parka, and I stuck around near him after the show, after he was taking, like, pictures with fans and stuff. And I just stood there, and Liam was like, "Are you gonna go up?" I was like, nah, wait by here a minute, I want to see if he recognizes me. And the amazing thing was the fact that Flash did recognize me, and he beckoned at me to come over to him. So I didn't need to go to him, he basically came to me, and it was amazing. I loved it. Knowing that he recognized me was literally the best thing that I could have asked for ever. And he doesn't know my name, obviously, because I go by The Babe on Twitter, because I think that if I change it, he's not going to recognize me anymore. It's going to be really weird. So I gave him the badge. I'm not sure if I gave him the badge before or after he gave me a hug.
Before, I think.
Was it before? Or was it like after one hug before the other hug?
I don't remember, it doesn't matter.
Because I spoke to him for a little bit, and then I gave him the pin, and he hugged me. A very sweaty hug, mind, because he's a very sweaty man. And so I gave him the pin, and he opened it, and he looked at it, and he was like, "Oh my god, no, this is perfect, I love it, it's going to go straight on my parka." Then he gave me another hug, and he just had, like, such a nice conversation with me, and then he had a conversation with you as well, didn't he? And Flash is such a nice person. Like, I can't get over, like, I can't sing Flash's praises enough. Like, he's so good with his fans. Like, he treats them like they're actually, like, they're his friends. And I don't think that I could say I admire anything like, don't you dare, don't.
His wrestling friends.
Oh, I fucking hate you. But yeah, anyway, no, he does treat his fans like his friends. And, Liam, just stop it. And honestly, I am so grateful for like all the time that Flash has given me on like his time online and stuff, and his time talking to me when he could have been talking to other people. Like, it does mean so much to me, and there's me gushing about him because I love him so much. But yeah, he is my favourite, and obviously for a reason. And I was just so happy that he's got to stay in Attack, because if I couldn't see him in Attack, I would be very, very, very upset.
So, as I stated earlier, after Winterslam, there was going to be a screening of Summerslam, so we stuck around and walked about. Yeah, it was a kind of an unpleasant experience for a bit, well, for most of the night, because we didn't book a booth because I didn't have the money to book
It's
one.
expensive.
And they wouldn't apparently you couldn't book one unless you had a party of 4, and we didn't know people who were going. Like, we knew people who were there, but we didn't know they were there until they were leaving. But yeah, we stayed to watch SummerSlam, and we're just going to briefly go through SummerSlam match by match. First match of the show was John Cena vs Baron Corbin. The match itself I don't remember a whole lot about. I just know the story behind it, and how literally they set Baron up because he was going to be like, it seemed like he was going to be the next big heel on SummerSlam on SmackDown. He won Money in the Bank. And then a week prior to SummerSlam, he went to cash in and failed. So he was going to have a match with John Cena, and then he lost his match to John Cena. So 2 weeks in a row, he lost his Money in the Bank, then lost to John Cena, which left him nowhere. Some people think it's punishment for the way he's been acting. It's WWE's way of punishing people. It's really stupid. They're run by carnies. But the match itself was so crap. There's just nothing great about it. Cena beat him so easily with no reason to. Really, Corbin should have won it, but Cena beat him easily.
Naomi.
Up next was Natalya versus Naomi for the Women's Championship. Again, another match that wasn't... Some people were saying the women's matches were great, and I didn't like either of them.
It was okay. I mean, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It was alright.
I'll say this now about the entire goddamn show. It's the same issue that WWE has all the time with their pay-per-views. There's that line with WWE where everything's good or average. There's very rare that there's something great. There is something great on the show, which we'll talk about in a bit. But it was Natalya defeating Naomi with her sharpshooter, which looks so bad. Like, she's she's a heart. Well, she's a night heart. But
the thing is, Natalya's so top heavy. She's got a lot of boob, like I do. I mean, it's impossible to land, to land a sharpshooter properly when you have that much boobage. So, I don't think it was ever going to go well for her.
Up next is the match that everyone was excited for. Big Cass versus fucking Big Show with Enzo in a goddamn shark cage. This rivalry is so stupid. Basically, WWE made a really stupid mistake of breaking up Enzo and Cass. Because here's the issue with Enzo and Cass, right? Enzo is a fucking amazing promo. The dude can talk. Can't fucking wrestle. He can get ragdolled around, and he can make people feel sorry for him because of how easy it is to beat him up. Big Cass.
He can't talk for shit.
He's not an amazing wrestler, but he's better than Enzo.
But he can't.
And he's not too strong on the mic.
He's not a good talker.
He can be good, but not great. So basically, they covered up each other's weaknesses. Enzo was the mouth, Cass was the wrestling. He was the big guy.
Cass was the moves.
And then they broke it up, and now we're in this awkward situation where Enzo can't fucking hold one for himself because he can't wrestle, and there's no way he lasts in this company the way it's going. And Cass can't fucking talk, and there's no way he's getting over the crowd currently. So what do? We put him in a match with Big Show. Don't get me wrong, I have major respect for Big Show and how long he's been in this business. I just don't find him entertaining in the ring. And this match was... It was crap. And everyone knew Enzo was going to get involved somehow. It had to happen. It's just the way they did it. And this is why it feels like punishment, because it feels like they've been punishing Enzo a lot recently for shit he's doing. They made him get undressed down to his boxers and then oil himself up to slide out of the shark cage and then drop down just to get knocked the fuck out.
That was entertaining, but, for the reason behind it, it's not very good. I mean, I think that WWE they need to sort themselves out if they're punishing wrestlers by making them do stupid shit like that.
They've always done it. It's the way they work.
It's horrible.
It's because they're carnies. Vince runs it like a bunch of carnies. After that, we had Randy Orton versus Rusev. This was...
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, exactly. This is a match that
I'm pretty sure that didn't last very long, did it?
This is a match that had many people, because apparently there were rumours of Lana and Rusev leaving WWE. So when this happened, people were like, oh, they're definitely leaving. They're not leaving, at least as far as we know. But basically, the match is Randy Orton makes his entrance, and then Rusev comes down and attacks him before the match. Randy Orton gets rolled back in the ring. The match starts. Rusev goes for a move. Orton ducks under it, hits an RKO, match is over in 13 seconds. This is a fucking SummerSlam match.
The thing is, Rusev's a good wrestler.
He is. He's fucking amazing.
He's good. I mean, they shouldn't be giving him like a 13-second match, right? Where Randy Orton bloody RKO's him.
Here's the issue that if you want to think backstage, obviously we don't have confirmation on any of this. This is why it's always rumored. I always have to state it's rumors when I talk about this stuff. But the rumor is because Orton had lost to Jinder Mahal numerous times, and they wanted to get Orton back on his winning ways, so they thought, we'll give him an easy win. Over who? Rusev. It's irritating because Rusev is such a fucking good, talented wrestler that he has to deal with this. Next up was Sasha Banks versus Alexa Bliss, and once again Sasha winning on the pay-per-view and then losing the championship again on Raw.
She's actually lost it again.
Yeah.
Oh my god. How many times has she had
She lost
that
it back
championship?
to Alexa so that Alexa can face Nia Jax.
What was the point in that?
They do this all the time with Sasha.
They literally,
Sasha's gonna be she's gonna hold the title more than any other diva,
but for the shortest times.
Not actually fucking hold it.
Yeah.
It's really annoying because in NXT Sasha was a fucking amazing talent, and it's the same issue they've had with Bayley. That was the funny thing about Bayley. Is they brought her, how much she was over in NXT.
Oh yeah, everyone loved her in NXT. They're not using her properly in what one is she on? Is she on Raw or SmackDown?
There was a video I saw of they were comparing her reactions in Brooklyn, because obviously she's done Brooklyn 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
First year was the year she won the championship.
Yeah.
Second year she I think she lost to Asuka, or she defended against Nia. I think
she defended it against Nia and she won that one.
Yeah,
and then in the third one she lost it to.
No, third year in Brooklyn was SummerSlam when she couldn't wrestle. But the first 2 years she was cheered and over as fuck.
Oh, God,
third year Bayley. She comes on the screen, she gets booed.
Why would they boo in Bayley?
Exactly, they fucked her up that badly. The people boo her. Anyway,
what have they done to my Bayley?
Again,
they're just not using her properly.
I don't remember much about this match.
Oh no, I don't like that.
Up next was Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, and
I enjoyed that match. I like
Finn.
I liked his demon entrance.
He's a charisma vacuum. The amazing thing about Finn is he has two distinct personalities. When he's the demon and when he's just
Finn.
Balor Club Finn. He's got 2 distinct personalities. And the demon is this fucking amazing thing because of the way he carries himself.
He's like a fucking reptile when he's...
I'm pretty sure, literally in the match, he's doing his, stalking thing and, chasing after Bray. He scares Bray out the ring, twice, I'm pretty sure. And then towards the end of the match, Bray does his whole spider walk thing, and I think Finn just stands up and stares him down, and Bray's just like, the fuck?
Well, you don't want to get stared down by Finn Balor, do you?
I know, but it's they haven't done that with anyone else. The only other person who's ever done that to Bray was Taker. And that was at WrestleMania when Bray's doing his spider walk, and then Taker sits up and looks at him, and Bray just kind of falls to the ground and is like, ah. But I wanted to stay on this point of Finn. It's I've watched his New Japan matches, and they're fucking amazing.
Finn's a great wrestler.
As a heel in New Japan, he was great because he was this cocky, and he should be with the way he fucking looks. This cocky fucking
prick.
Yeah. But in WWE, he's not that. And
he's not. He's a good boy.
When he's Balor Club Finn, he doesn't have the charisma because he has the look. He comes to the ring and he's like, "Hey." The moment he starts talking, you're like,
"No."
Because you can tell he's scripted.
He comes out in his leather jacket, all open, right?
With his washboard arms.
And you can see everything, right? And he is basically, right, he is a vagina magnet, is what Finn Balor is. And the thing is, Finn's such a...
Straight dudes like him.
Finn's such an amazing talent, right? But literally, I feel like one of the only purposes he serves at the minute is to get the water running down below.
It's not even just a female thing. Literally,
men love it
I'm
as
on
well.
Squared Circle, which is a subreddit for wrestling, and there's so many people. It's it's the fucking Simpsons joke with stupid sexy Balor.
He is stupid sexy Balor.
But yeah, he needs to do something because his face.
He shouldn't
unless he's the demon. I don't give a shit.
He shouldn't just be defined as stupid sexy Balor. I think that's it, really. Like, he is a lot more than washboard abs.
After this, we have the Shield. We have Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins versus the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus. This match was actually pretty good. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty good, and it's really the build to Dean and Seth becoming friends. Becoming tag partners again was a really good one. That's the only bit of good storytelling WWE has done in a long time. Where for the longest time after the breaking up, Dean fucking hated Seth. Even when they were both faces, he didn't trust him, and like they slowly developed that trust again. And we all know what's gonna happen. Dean's gonna turn on Seth at some point and turn him heel. At least if it goes as fingers are, easy
I
to
don't
predict.
want that to happen. It's gonna. Like, you can see it a mile away. Like, as soon as they became friends again, you know that it's gonna be Dean turning on him this time, because Seth did exactly the same thing, but I don't want that to happen.
But yeah, it was a pretty decent match. Ambrose and Rollins became tag champions. I don't have a lot to say. I fucking love the Bar. Cesaro and Sheamus is such a good team.
Yeah.
After that, we had Jinder Mahal versus Shinsuke.
Oh, that one.
It's really disappointing because
I don't even remember who won that one.
Jinder. But I've had this pointed out to me where the saddest thing about Nakamura is the best match he's had in WWE was his first match against Sami Zayn. He hasn't had a great match since. People say his matches with Joe were great. I hate his matches with Joe. I didn't think they were that good. I thought Nakamura had better matches with Rude. His matches with Rude were really good, but his matches with Joe...
I think the matches with Rude were a lot better because obviously, they had like a lot more like there was more chemistry going on between Nakamura and Rude because of the story there. Because
Nakamura actually sold. Yeah, we had Jinder versus Nakamura, and it's just the issue with Jinder. I respect the dude that is Jinder. He seems like a genuinely nice person from what I know, from what I've seen, like interviews and stuff. And like, I'm glad that they gave someone else a shot, even if it's just because they're trying to move into the Indian market. But it's just upsetting because every Jinder match is ending the same way, where like it's a substandard WWE style match, and then the Singh brothers get involved, and then he wins by cheating because he's a heel and he has to win by cheating. And it's disappointing.
Does every heel have to win by cheating?
No, not every heel, but that's the character he's playing. And it's just upsetting because he's just every other heel, and like, I have respect for him. I don't like him as champion. It's irritating. But the match everyone was talking about, the match that had everyone in the fucking venue losing their shit, was the fatal four-way between Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Samoa Joe, and Brock Lesnar.
That was my favourite one.
The most funny thing about this is fucking Braun Strowman. Last year, people hated him. They thought he was terrible, and rightfully so, because he was really green. The funniest thing about last year, it was 2016, he was in the Royal Rumble, and Lesnar came in. He didn't fucking sell for Lesnar, so Lesnar just fucking stiffed him. He literally smacked him as hard as he could to take him down.
Yeah.
And that's how much has changed since then. People love Braun because he's fucking nuts. He flipped an ambulance. He threw a chair at Roman Reigns. Oh, God.
Didn't he burst a beach ball as well? Or was
no,
that someone else?
Cesaro. Oh, shit. That was
Cesaro,
That was during the Shield versus the Bar.
Yeah, when people were making...
beach ball going around.
People were paying more attention to the beach ball than the match.
Cesaro fucking vaulted the fucking barrier without touching it, grabbed the beach ball, popped it, and then fucking ran back to the ring. I fucking love Cesaro. Anyway.
I mean, it's like bad when that happens. So.
Back to this match. The reason why it was so fucking great is because it's exactly what it needed to be, which is just all out fucking balls to the wall nonsense. And fucking Braun destroyed Brock Lesnar. Did he pwn through 2 tables? Yeah, he pwned through 2 tables, then flipped the 3rd table onto him. The fuck? Braun took out fucking Brock Lesnar. And the thing is, like, the match was, if Brock lost, he was going to leave, and there was rumours of him leaving anyway because he was going to go back to UFC because his suspension's up.
Yeah.
So it was like, when he wrote him out, people were like, oh, that means he's not gonna be pinned for the match. And then, the match is just so good. It's the best thing that's happened in WWE in so long. Oh my god, and I just loved it. I need to rewatch it. But it was such a good match. And then Lesnar came back, and I think he pinned Roman for the win. I enjoyed being in Walkabout for that, because everyone else it was like kind of like being there, because everyone was losing their shit at that match, because it was bonkers. There's no other words to describe it but bonkers. And I was so happy. Like, during the show, I was like, oh, this is okay. And that match came on. I couldn't fucking stop smiling.
I paid money for a drink, right? And then I knocked it over with my foot. And half of it came out of the glass. And I was wearing my new shoes. And I was just sat in a sticky puddle of Coke. Because I didn't have money to get a new drink. And I was really sad. And Liam wouldn't get me a new drink because he was watching the wrestling and didn't want to get up. So I didn't have a drink. And I had a sticky shoe. But the wrestling was good too.
We're going to have a very short news section today because we ran quite over in our topic section.
We talked too much about wrestling because we're nerds.
But there's only one topic I really want to discuss anyway in news, and that's what's happening with Star Wars Episode 9. Recently, the director that was linked with it, Colin Trevorrow, or whatever his name is, who's done Jurassic World and some other films, I don't fucking know. He will no longer be directing Star Wars Episode 9 after Lucasfilms announced that our visions for the project differ. The reason why this is interesting is the exact same thing happened with the Han Solo film. The directors stepped down because their vision differed from Lucasfilms, and they couldn't work it out. Creative differences. So the discussion needs to be had is Disney and Lucasfilms, have they got so much creative control over it that the directors don't really get much of a say? Or is it a case of like just certain directors are trying to take in like a direction entirely different to what they wanted? I guess that's basically the same thing where it's a case of like, is the director basically just there to make sure the film happens unless the actually have an impact?
You know now how JJ's back doing being the director for Star Wars. Isn't it a little bit, risky, swapping directors, when the release date is pretty close?
No, it's Episode 9, it's 2019.
Oh, okay. We're on episode 8, are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's being directed by Rian Johnson.
Oh, right, okay.
But no, as Leia said, J.J. Abrams is now directing Episode 9. So the guy who directed Episode 7 is also directing Episode 9. He's also apparently going to be co-writing it. So yeah, now JJ's worked on 2 of the 3 new Star Wars films. He's also the guy who made the fucking new Star Trek films work. So it's rather interesting how he's involved. I hate the Star Trek films, but I fucking love The Force Awakens. I don't care if it's just rehashed Episode 4. I think that's what the series needed. It needed to get back to what it was.
Well, Force Awakens was a very pure Star Wars film. It wasn't, it was like...
It was rehashed Episode 4.
It was. It really was, but it was good. Like you said, it needed it.
Yeah, it did, because after the prequels, Star Wars' name was kind of tarnished and needed to get back to what it was.
Those prequels were goddamn awful. And I remember seeing one time someone said that The Phantom Menace was the best Star Wars film, and I nearly shoved a fork in my eye.
As a kid, I loved The Phantom Menace.
I did.
For one reason. Darth Maul.
He was bloody awesome, he was.
Darth Maul was the best thing about the prequels.
Yeah. Until he died.
So yeah, J.J. Abrams is now directing. I do want to get back to the discussion now. Do you think Disney and Lucasfilms are like, no, this is how the film's going to happen. You don't get a say. Just make it happen. Do you think they're doing that? Because Disney is notorious for being very controlling over its properties.
Are you asking me or the audience?
Well, both, but it's kind of a discussion thing. That's what the news is for.
I don't know. It feels like, Disney, I feel like Disney needs control over what they do. Okay, well, basically, they gotta keep the Disney name where it's at. They gotta keep a good image of Disney or whatever. And I feel like that in order for them to do that, they do take really, really strict control over what they make. I mean, I'm hoping that they're not gonna do that for Star Wars because, Star Wars films aren't Disney films. Like, even though they're owned by Disney now, so technically they are Disney films, they're not, are they? They're not Disney films. So, like, I hope that Disney don't have too much control over the Star Wars franchise as of now. But I guess we're gonna see as when Episode 9 comes out.
The thing is, like, from a business sense, I understand, because obviously, as you said, they gotta kind of protect.
They gotta protect
their name and their brand, and they don't want to be associated with anything. I just saw an interesting quote was from Lucasfilm's president Kathleen Kennedy, who said, "With The Force Awakens, JJ delivered everything we could have possibly hoped for." I read into that as you will, but I looked a bit further up, and apparently, because Abrams will be co-writing the film with a guy called Chris Terrio, or something like that, it suggests that the former director's draft for the film has been scrapped, as any elements added by the previously announced co-writer. So basically, episode 9 is now a clean slate.
Anything could happen.
Clean slate.
Anything could happen in episode 9.
I think that's probably for the best, though, because obviously now, if they got a clean slate, then they don't have to, like, write around if they were going to put Leia in the film. Like, they can just write around it from the start.
I mean, Leia's in the new one.
Yeah,
but
because
she was still alive when they were filming
when filming was going on.
But, like, what do you think's going to happen in episode 9?
Episode 9?
I reckon Kylo's going to come home in episode 9.
Either Kylo dies or Kylo turns to the light side. There's no other way Kylo gets out of this. I think if he does turn to the light side, he dies anyway. I
think that in episode 8, he's gonna be all like, obviously, all the way through episode 7, he was fighting with himself. He was about, having, like, he still felt the light in him, but also, trying to finish where his fucking grandfather started and all that crap. I do think that he's gonna keep, in episode 8, he's gonna be still conflicting with himself, and he's gonna think to himself, I think there's gonna be, right, during the entire of episode 8, he's going to be like, yeah, dark side. Then at the end of the film, he's going to be like, what about light side?
It's going to be the Vader thing. I just thought about that. It's going to be the Vader thing. Where he'll stay dark side, and then at the end, he'll have sudden change of heart.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, I know. But it'll be a case of, like, he'll help the light side, but he dies.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be Vader. It's Vader all over again.
He's destined for his grandfather's fate. He is. And I don't want to say that it's Kylo's fault, or it's Kylo's fault.
Yeah, we could sit and talk Star Wars all day, but that's kind of getting away from the news topic, so...
Right, no more Star Wars.
That's the one news topic we want to discuss too. On to releases. So, the main change we've made to releases is that we've decided to narrow it down basically completely until we're only talking about the stuff we really want to talk about now, or stuff that looks really interesting to us. So, the release list is much slimmer than it actually is. I will give a link to all releases so that you can look for yourself, but these are the ones that kind of stood out to us. Starting with the 1st of September, we see the release of a film called Una. A woman confronts an older man, her former neighbour, to find out why he abandoned her after they had a sexual relationship when she was 13.
Ew.
Yeah, I kind of left it on here because it's such a weird fucking concept, and it's really Mara. She always takes on these really uncomfortable roles. I mean, she's in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo,
but she's good at playing girls with weird roles.
I know, but she always seems to be taking on these roles.
Well, I think it suits.
Yeah, I left this on here. I'm not necessarily interested in seeing it. I just found the concept really interesting, and I thought some people might enjoy it.
So on the 8th, was it?
Yep.
Okay, we have the release. Well, we had the release because past tense. In Syria, a mother attempts to keep her family safe as war rages and a sniper lies in wait outside her home. The nerve-wracking study of life in Damascus won an audience award at, I don't know, some German place.
Why did I leave that on the list?
I don't know.
It just sounded interesting.
I didn't highlight that.
I did. Yeah, we don't have much to say about that.
I highlighted the ones I wanted to do in pink.
So on the same day, we saw the release of the remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it, of It. Apparently, though, it's pretty good. I'm not going to watch it because I don't like horror, and while I'm not as scared as Leah of clowns, I don't like them.
And Leah's not going to watch it because she has panic attacks at the sight of clowns.
But yeah, I've heard it's pretty good from people who enjoy horror films and people who enjoy the original, so if that's your cup of tea, then check it out, I guess.
I wish it was my cup of tea, trust me, because I love Stephen King. Okay, anyway, so up next, so on the same day as It, we have a film titled The Drummer and the Keeper. So an unlikely friendship develops between a bipolar drummer of a rock band and an institutionalized teen suffering from Asperger's syndrome. This sounds like it's right up my alley.
Yeah, it sounded like a very interesting indie film, because that's definitely an indie film.
It looks like an indie film, doesn't it?
Oh, it definitely is. There's no way that gets made by a big company. So yeah, that's an interesting little indie film that you should definitely keep your eye on if you're into indie films, which I definitely am. On the same day, we see the release of a film called Wind River. When I first saw this, I wasn't interested, but it's getting pretty good reviews. And I also discovered that it's written by the same guy who wrote Sicario. And Sicario is a fucking masterclass in tension. It's Such an amazing film. Basically, Wind River is about a veteran tracker with the Fish and Wildlife Service that helps to investigate the murder of a young Native American woman and uses the case as a means of seeking redemption for an earlier act of irresponsibility which ended in tragedy. It's got Jeremy Renner in it and Julia Jones. I recognise that name, I'm just not 100% sure where from. But yeah, the reason why I left this on here was because of Taylor Sheridan. Sicario is such a good film that I guess I'm going to have to keep an eye on it.
On the 15th of September, which was released last year in Hungary, Kills on Wheels. And I'm not going to even try to pronounce the original title. It's so two disabled teenagers looking for a reason to live team up with a wheelchaired hitman. I feel like this film is going to have subtitles.
Again, another
foreign film.
Indie film that definitely sounds like it'd be rather interesting. I do like some really weird premises to my films, so I'm definitely going to keep an eye on that. After that, on the 20th of September, we see the release of a film that's going to be way more generally accepted and it's way more mainstream. Kingsman: The Golden Circle, which is Kingsman 2 for those of you who didn't know. When their headquarters are destroyed and the world is held hostage, the Kingsman's journey leads them to the discovery of an allied spy organization in the US. These two elite secret organizations must band together to defeat a common enemy. Yeah, it's more Kingsman. The trailers lead me to believe that it's going to be more of the same as the first one. It's that charm that Kingsman has. It's Matthew Vaughn. Taron's in it. Colin Firth is back.
Taron Egerton.
In some form. Channing Tatum's in this. Fucking Jeff Bridges in this. I fucking love Jeff Bridges, man.
And got Eggsy.
So yeah, we're definitely, when we have money, we're definitely going to go see this film because I fucking love the first Kingsman. I thought it was an amazing film. It plays perfectly because we had that very long period of time where we had nothing but like very serious spy thrillers, and this is a return to like campy, like spy films, campy spy films with interesting weapons and girls.
It reminds me of 60s James Bond and I like it. Yeah. Right, on the 29th we have a film called Goodbye Christopher Robin, and I'm very excited for this film because it's a Winnie the Pooh film and I like Winnie the Pooh. I don't know why I did that in a different accent. Anyway, so the behind the screen look at the author A.A. Milne and the creation of Winnie the Pooh stories inspired by his son Christopher Robin.
I left this on here because I imagined you'd be interested for some reason.
I love Winnie the Pooh. It's my favourite. Like, I always loved Winnie the Pooh when I was little, and I had all the books and all of that, so yeah. Winnie the Pooh's always going to have a special place in my heart.
I'm not hugely interested, but I imagine there are some people that are.
It's a period film as well, which is good.
Anyway, up next, on the 5th of October, we see the release of Blade Runner 2049. A young Blade Runner's discovery of a long-buried secret leads him on a quest to track down former Blade Runner Rick Deckard, who's been missing for 30 years. I still haven't watched the first Blade Runner. I have it, just haven't had the time, haven't got around to actually watching it. This one, on top of Harrison Ford, added Ryan Gosling, Jared Leto, as well as Dave Bautista. I fucking love Bautista,
man. They got Bautista in it.
Yeah.
I love Bautista.
So yeah, that's coming out. If you enjoyed Blade Runner, give that a look. I still need to go around to watching the first one before I even consider watching this.
The first Blade Runner was pretty good. On Friday the 13th of October, we see the release of a film called Double Date. Okay, so meet innocent Jim, terrified of girls on a reluctant quest to prove his manhood. The night before he turns 30, he and his cocky friend Alex think they've hit the jackpot when they meet the beautiful siblings Kitty and Lulu, who seem up for anything on a wild party-filled night. But little do they know that the femmes fatales want to make Jim lose much more than just his virginity. Getting laid has never been so bloody difficult. How difficult is getting laid though? It's not, is it?
I have a thing for weird little like quirky comedy films, and there's a comedy horror. Sounds like it might be interesting.
I'm up for watching that.
It's British comedy.
Yeah.
Anyway, on the same date we see the release of The Party, which is a film I've kept my eye on for a while because it just looks really interesting to me. The Party is a comedy wrapped around a tragedy. It starts as a celebration and ends with blood on the floor. Not blood on the dance floor. Fuck off.
How did you know I was going to make that joke?
Because I was going to make that joke. Anyway, yeah, it's an entirely black and white film. I don't know, just the poster and the concept sounded really interesting to me. I don't know much else about it, but it's got the only name I recognise is Cillian Murphy, who's got the weirdest looking face, but he was fucking what's his name in goddamn Scarecrow and Batman. That's all I always remember because he's that weird looking dude. On the 20th of October, we see the release of a film called Happy Death Day. A college student relives the day of a murder with both his unexceptional details and terrifying end until she discovers her killer's identity. So it's a Groundhog Day type thing, but it's about
murder.
Yeah, it's about solving a mystery. Well, I guess Groundhog Day is about solving... I've never actually seen Groundhog Day, I just know the concept. It's about solving a murder mystery, more specifically her own. So, yeah, that sounded really interesting. I've been keeping my eye on it.
On the 24th of October, we have the release of Thor Ragnarok. That's it. So it's obviously the next Thor film, which I'm very excited for. In prison, the mighty Thor finds himself in a lethal gladiatorial contest against the Hulk, his former ally. Thor must fight for survival and race against time to prevent the all-powerful Hela or Hela from destroying his home and the Asgardian civilization.
Now,
I really want to see how this film pans out. I really want to see it. I love Thor.
The Thor films are crap. The weaker ones.
I love the character
in the Marvel films. But the trailer for this one actually looked really interesting, and the posters have been goddamn gorgeous.
My favourite thing in the trailer was, "It's okay, I know him. He's a friend from work."
It's just, I'm really burnt out on Marvel films. There's been so many, and they're planning to keep going for so much longer. And it's just, you can only take so much before you kind of just like, ugh. I give up. I'll probably give it a chance. I'm just not, jumping out of my seat for another Marvel film. And the final release, it's not something I give two shits about it because it's a goddamn continuation of a series that should be long dead, but I know Leah really enjoys the series, and that's Jigsaw. Bodies are turning up around the city, each having met a uniquely gruesome demise. As the investigation proceeds, evidence points to one man, John Kramer. But how can this be? The man known as Jigsaw has been dead for over a decade. Isn't that basically the story of every goddamn Saw film after he died? Yeah, basically. But for a while through the series, obviously it wasn't John doing it because he's dead. But he actually did organize games for he calls them games. He organized them he organized them before his death to carry on for maybe 10 years. So he had enough games to last him after he died. This film series is a rather annoying one because
I wish they kept to 2 films.
The first film
is amazing.
It's I don't even like horror films. I don't like Saw. But the first film I have major respect for because it's basically a student film. It is. It was made on... It's such a low budget. Yeah, the reason why most of the film is in that one room is because there's such a low budget. And that's an amazing thing. That a film that became that popular was basically a student film. And the second one was really good. They was only planning on making one film until, Saw became a cult classic. So they made a second one. And then fans kept demanding for more and more and more. So now there's 10... I don't think... I don't think the fans demand it. I think they realised they printed money. There's 10 Saw films now, something like that. But they originally only wanted to make one, but they made more than that. They made 2 because of the fans, and like you said, now it's probably because of the moolah they're making more. They print so much money. I love the Saw. It's annoying to me because the first film wasn't. It was never about the traps. The traps were interesting, but it was about the characters. Yeah, it was about the characters, and it was about the game that you had set up, where it's it was about the characters and why they were pieces of shit. That is literally it. But then they just became gore fests, and yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't like that though, because I do. But the films after, I say that they stopped being about storyline after Saw 3. And then they got gore festy. Because Saw 2 is always going to be my favourite Saw film. One thing about the Saw films I found hilarious is I had someone defend them to me. I said... was it me? No, it wasn't you. Basically he said, oh, I love the Saw series. The entire, each film, links into the other. No, it doesn't. Well, even if that's the case, that's easy to do. That's not something unique. And that's not what makes them amazing. They're not amazing, because they did turn from oh, let's tell a story, to let's come up with the most gruesome and creative traps we can. Which I have respect for, because there is a genre for it. But they've just milked that cash cow until it's literally dry. There's only bones.
The thing that I love about the traps is they make traps that actually could kill people. Like, if you use them on like, you know, you actually used them on a person, they actually would die. You could actually die. They're real. It's dangerous. And like, that's why I have like so much respect for the people that make them and the people that get put in these traps. Oh man, it's great. Like, I can't wait for Jigsaw. I'm not, like I say, I'm not hoping for much from it, but because I love the Saw films, obviously, I am going to watch it, so I'm just going to see what I think of it when it comes out and I see it, because I do want to see it in cinema, so I just see what happens.
So yes, that is all the releases we actually want to discuss today. The segment is quite a bit shorter, for the best. So yeah, that's it for this podcast. We will see you again next time. Bye.